Spencer, opportunity missed, would you agree?
Was it a week ago, we got a lot of plaudits for the way we played at Gosport. Good performance, deserved a point. Today it was a terrible game. We just didn't get going. Same players, 3 or 4 players didn't perform at all, and we got ourselves 1-0 up. I thought it was an absolutely terrible first half from both sides. We just, as I said, couldn't seem to get our passing game going. We get ourselves up with a bit of fortunate mistake from centre half, and then I suppose the game totally turns on. The ball hits the inside of the post and comes out. That goes in, it's all over, and they'll probably go on and win more. But when it doesn't go in and then they clear that resulting rebound off the bar, we just kept giving the ball away. We kept giving away set pieces. I think we must have had to defend 25 corners, throw-ins and free kicks, and it's Jamie's man. It's free header 5 yards out, bang, 1-1, and players just didn't perform well enough on the day, and you've come off and we feel like we've lost the game. We've had by far more chances than them, but we haven't played well. We played nowhere near the level we played last week, and of course it's made 5 times worse by the other results. So we were in early today. We fed them, we're paying them, but there's 3 or 4 in there who think they're better than they are, and I don't think they put a shift in, and they've really let me down. They've let Lee down. Lee's here today off his sick bed, and it was a poor performance. It was one of those cup final games where there was very little quality in the game, and we've now got just a massive game next Saturday. I did feel that today's game wasn't as huge as next Saturday, but now next Saturday is just a massive game, and we've got to get the fans there. There wasn't a great attendance here today. I said to the players before, we've got to embrace these next 10 games. It's an exciting opportunity, and we've put a very similar team out today that played against Eastbourne and played so well. And I said I don't want to be critical of all of them. I thought Chris Nurse was superb. I thought Phil Page put in a fabulous shift, but a number of other players didn't perform at all, and we didn't have much to do. But when they've scored that set piece, then who knows what's going to happen. And it feels like a defeat, but it just emphasises what a massive task we've got now, and starting next Saturday.
Talk about players who didn't perform. There were key players for you, were they? Louis up front, Dan Bennett has had better games. Those are players that you really needed to play well for you today.
And if you go and ask them now, I think they think they were great. They think they were great. They think they put. You saw Louis when he came off. He thought, "What the hell am I doing?" This is the problem. We've got too many people around here at the moment. I wish a number of our players feel as passionately about this club as I do. The amount of time, effort, and don't even want to go into the third point, that I've put into this club and Lee puts into this club. And you can't ask any more. It's a nice blue sunny day. We've got the players in. Some of the things that are written are total rubbish. We've got them all set up, and we knew it was going to be a tough game. We knew Staines were changing around. They were desperate to win. We just didn't get going. All the positive things we did last week at Gosport, all the things we did the week before Eastbourne, we just didn't get going. And as you said, key big players didn't perform. But I said there's a number of them, and I've just said it very clearly, that have got to look at themselves in that dressing room about, do they really care? And I've said, you'll care when it comes to July and August if we get relegated, when you're running around asking people for money with a relegation on your CV. As I said, this really hurts. We've drawn the game. As I said, it feels like we've got beat 5-0. Because we were by far the better side, and we didn't get out of second gear, and that is so frustrating. Same players, same formation, just 3 or 4 people looked like they were flat-footed, almost looking like they didn't care. And if they don't want to care in a game like this, we've wound them up. As I said, our preparation's been good. But maybe I'm being a bit harsh. The key moment, Louis got himself in a great position in the first half, missed the ball. He's got himself in a great position at the start of the second half, missed the target. And Bennett's hit the inside of the post and we put the rebound over. So maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe it's my instant reaction after the game, that disappointment, that frustration. So, we look at the tape, but we didn't play well. We didn't play the fluency that we can play. And I totally agree with you. Key players. Players who say, I should be in the starting 11, come on. Not a lot. It doesn't happen. We tried to have a consistent side. It's very difficult. And up until the point of the save, which leads to the goal, I don't think our keepers had anything to do at all. But we haven't played well. We haven't lost the game. But obviously, at this stage of the season, you're looking around at the other results, and I said at half time, this could be a monumental day this season, and it's a monumental way, the wrong way, even though we haven't lost the game. It just puts huge focus on, and we've got to pick ourselves up and be in on Tuesday to get ready for Saturday.
Up for a fantastic goal line clearance right at the end there. It could have been worse, couldn't it?
It could have been worse there, but the reality is we've had 3 or 4 breakaways with players you want the ball to get to, where we've been, what, 2 or 3 on 2, 2 on 1, and we couldn't pass the ball to each other. We just ran it into touch or passed it to nobody. It's just very, very poor from that perspective. But I said, even as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking I'm probably exaggerating it. We drew the game 1-1, hit the inside of the bar. We created by far the best chances. Yes, they've scored in the last 10 minutes from a set piece, and they've thrown in more set pieces. Did they open us up at any other point in the game? No. But good players didn't play well, and you've got to question their hearts today. And I've just said to them, we've got a big sign up in the dressing room about what's left, the 10 games we had before today, and what I feel is required, and that's changed dramatically. I've just changed in front of them, and I hope they're under no illusions what I think. As I said, I wish they would bleed as hard for this club as we're doing at the moment, because it really hurts, and it's been a very long week for me and Lee, and we've got to pick ourselves up and go, it wasn't a defeat. What a game next Saturday.
Just sort of thinking about that next Saturday. I mean, if today wasn't a must-win, then that really is now, isn't it?
And to be perfect, I did say to people before today that today actually wasn't must-win. It feels now like it should have been, but next week is just a massive 6-pointer. We need the fans to get behind us. Some of the times in the last 3.5 years I've managed here, we've had amazing away support. They've got together and they've sung. This is the time. We had nothing here today, and I'm incredibly grateful for fans who do turn up, but we need them. Such a local derby, massive game, and we get 300 odd people in the ground, and that's not making any excuses. I'm gutted. I always reassess myself. Could we have done anything different? But I said, we played very well last weekend without getting the result, and we beat Eastbourne at home previously, so there wasn't any reason to change much. But we didn't do enough, and now next week, as you say, you can bring out all the cliches, 6-pointer, cup final, the whole thing. But we've got 9 of those to do, and we're going to have to play better than we did today. And I was hoping, I was saying at half time, I'd be sitting here now going, do you know what? We didn't perform well, but we got the result. And at this stage of the season, the results are more important than the performances. Last week we had the performance and not the result. You tend to think, you hope that if you perform as well as we did the last couple of games, that the results would follow that. Today we didn't perform well, and we've got a draw. I said it feels like a defeat. It's not, and just got to take a big deep breath and get massively focused for next week. It doesn't get any bigger, and if the players don't want to show that, then it doesn't matter. But there's nothing I can do. My centre half doesn't want to mark their most obvious player on a set piece, and he heads the ball in unattached 5 yards out. But we gave away far too many set pieces. Yeah, because we weren't working hard enough, and I'm afraid that a number of that's the front lads. But as I said, I thought Phil Page worked really well, but he didn't get anywhere near enough support from players that are so vital to us as a team.
We keep faith with the players and the system for next week, or have you got something to think about, sort of maybe strengthening in the week for Hayes and needed?
There's not going to be any drastic changes. I don't think there needs to be. We've not lost a game. If we win on Saturday, then we're slap bang in it, isn't it? To I suppose to even a degree if we draw on Saturday. And I'm not into, we're not making wholesale changes. We are still looking. It's well publicised about Perry Ryan. We looked to do that. That deal didn't quite happen, but that might get reopened. And there's one other loan that we're trying to do. We have got room for that. But no, there's not going to be wholesale changes, because we haven't lost the game. We just haven't played very well, and we haven't played very well in a key game. I think that's the frustration. This time last week we were getting quite a few plaudits, even though we lost, and I was conscious of the fact we didn't win the game or get anything from the game. 2 weeks ago at home we beat Eastbourne, and everything was rosy. So it's not a case of wholesale changes. It's just, as you nailed it, key players, important players, the Bennetts, Theophanasis, other players in there, just good players, and I love Freddie Grant, But for him, his standards dropped down. He's trying to pass the ball, and the ball was passed straight out. You know, he's a great player, and he's desperate to win for this club. So people criticise we've got loanees here. Let them crack on. You go and see Freddie Grant in that dressing room. Right now, I don't know there's many that are hurting as much as he is. He's gutted. I keep re-harping on. We didn't lose the game. You know, and as I said, if that ball that hits the inside of the post goes in, or the rebound goes in, we would have been sitting here going, wasn't a great performance, but we won 2-3. Small margins.
I must ask you about the penalty. A few surprises that Harry Grant stepped up. Had that been discussed?
No. I'm a big believer on penalties unless something dramatic happens that you let the players sort it out. And again, Harry, heart on the sleeve, and I thought he gave a decent, you know, he worked really hard today. And if he was confident to take it, you know, you have the, you know, with Louis, do you put Louis up against his old club to take it? You know, there's all the stories, isn't there? So rather than get into a big process about that, unless there's like a row going on, which clearly there wasn't, somebody really wants it. Confidence is key, and what a great dispatch from it to put us one up.
Sure. Thank you very much.
All right, cheers, mate. Cheers.